Time now for your forewarned weather with Cedric Haynes.
All right, good morning, Utah. Let's get you out the door and kicked off for a whole new work week ahead here. Hopefully you had a great holiday weekend. As you can see outside the ABC4 studios, we've got clear skies to kick off things here. You can see a little bit of a light breeze from time to time. That's helping to whip the colonial flag just a little bit out there for us. But overall, a fairly quiet start to the day. Now, these temperatures are at the coolest point of the day, and with that light breeze, it actually makes it feel okay as you step out the door. 66 degrees currently in Salt Lake City, but again, that wind is only out of the east at 3, so a light variable wind out there for us across the area. Notice that dew point at 45. That's giving us humidity levels of 47%. That's not bad across the north. It's a lot lower, though, as you get towards southern Utah right now. Temperatures out there, well, here we go. 51 degrees in Heber. Good morning to you. We've got 58 degrees for our friends in Price this morning. 61 degrees in Hanksville, 57 in Vernal, 64 Blanding, and notice the mid-70s that we have showing up for our friends down towards St. George. So again, toasty to start in some places, but not bad in others. Maybe you're thinking about getting an early morning hike in. Temperatures in the 60s and 70s across the Wasatch Back. Not bad with lots of sunshine. As you get into the afternoon hours, though, that begins to change. We're going to be looking at those temperatures into the low 80s, jumping into the upper 80s for those afternoon temperatures. Again, that's for the Wasatch Back. If you're down here in the valley areas, yeah, it's going to be a lot warmer than that. So as you look at your weather story here for your Monday, well, we're heating up as we go throughout not only your Monday, but your Tuesday and your Wednesday afternoon. In fact, I think Wednesday will be the hottest day of the week for us. But again, down in the valley areas, if you're thinking about being poolside this afternoon, well, just keep in mind, it's going to be a hot one. Now, remember, you need to have that sunscreen, SPF 30 or greater. You can burn in less than 15 minutes. One of the reasons for that is the UV index, especially during the early afternoon hours, will be in the very high category. Temperatures near 90, jumping into the mid-90s as we get towards this afternoon. So definitely some great weather to jump in the pool. Just keep in mind, it's going to be pretty toasty across the region. We've got high temperatures that are going to range from temperatures into the upper 80s along the Wasatch Back, the Uintas to 90s showing up. Look at that, 98 in Spanish Fork. About 95 in Dugway, 86 though in Park Valley, 97 in Brigham City, and in Ogden, yeah, it's going to be hot for some of us. We're looking at 93 in Gunnison, 97 in Oak City, Fillmore about 94 degrees. How about 101? Ooh, a little toasty there in Green River. And then as you head down towards the far south, we're looking at about 101 in Lake Powell, 92 in Blanding, 96 Kanab, and about 104 in St. George. Hey, Bryce Canyon, though. 85 degrees today. All right, let's look at the weather map. High pressure, it's about the big blue wedge that's in place across the region. Warm and quiet conditions taking over the western half of the country. It's a high pressure ridge, and that's going to mean we stay fairly quiet. Maybe a minute shower here for portions of the high Uintas, but I think we're mainly dry with high pressure. Now, the storminess will be over the front range and then heading over into the upper plains. That's where they're going to see a lot of storminess, but that ridge of high pressure sends everything up and around us, so that'll be the case for your Tuesday and heading into your Wednesday. Now, Wednesday, we'll see those winds starting to pick up out of the south and west. That's ahead of a cold front. Yeah, cold front. We love to say that word this time of the year. Now, ahead of that front, again, we've got this high pressure ridge that's going to strengthen. And as we get sandwiched in between low pressure and high pressure, that's going to compress and heat up the air even more. So I think Wednesday will be our hottest day. And then we get this weak system moving by to our north. That'll bring us potentially some cooler air as we get into your Thursday and Friday. Now, it's going to be some slightly cooler air, so don't get too excited. But considering where we'll be by Wednesday, it'll feel somewhat nice, I think. You'll appreciate that cooling trend. St. George, 104 for your high on Monday, 106 on Tuesday, 108 on Wednesday, and then we may cool it all the way down to 104 again by Friday. Lots of sunshine, lots of heat in the forecast. The Wasatch Front, mid-90s today, upper 90s Tuesday. How about 100 degrees on Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday will be the hottest day of the week, but then look at that, Thursday into Friday. You see what I mean? I think we could appreciate 91, 90 degrees, especially considering 100 the day or two before that, but it does heat back up just in time for the weekend.